Hey everyone, welcome to the Wrestling Experience.
Where as of this moment, we are simply known as The Experience.
Yeah, so apparently, if you Google the Wrestling Experience, you see some crazy allegations about us, and we just think that by changing our podcast to the Experience, y'all won't know about our past.
Is that even true?
No, I just kind of made that up. We just took the Matt Riddle story. Sorry, not Matt Riddle, Riddle now, and
The Riddler?
we tried to be funny, and I don't know if it worked. You guys can tell us. But hey, I'm Joss.
I think we're funny every week, and I'm Johnny.
Thank you very much. And we are here to recap SmackDown. Not a match-heavy episode of SmackDown, but I guess in terms of story continuation, there's a lot of stuff that happened tonight, though.
Yeah, there are some significant matches, right? There are qualifying matches for Survivor Series,
Yeah.
but the focus really wasn't on the matches,
Yeah,
I would say.
and we do get a really, really good open. Basically, not an opening match, but the show opener was really cool because we have Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. They're all in the ring. We see a video recap of what happened at Hell in a Cell between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Jey Uso is really selling the emotions so well. He's nearly to the brink of tears, and before Paul Heyman even says something, he just snatches the mic away from Paul Heyman, and he basically just tells Roman like, "This is too much. You're not the type of person that you've become. This is all for the title." And Roman's like, "Listen, Jay is full of excuses. I did exactly what I said that I was going to do. I was going to make you quit, and that's exactly what you did. So now it's your time to take the oath, accept the membership, and fall in line because, as you can see with what happened when the show ended, his father came, his uncle came, and I guess the whole family is behind Roman, and now it's Jay's turn to be behind Roman as well."
Yeah, you think The Rock is behind Roman?
Come on, man. They're saving that match for WrestleMania. You know that.
What?
But yeah, so basically, Jay's like, "Listen, like this whole title has got you tripping." And Roman's like, "Listen, if you don't fall in line, your ass is out of the family. So what are you going to do, Jay? Like, I know you want to beat me up right now. I know you're furious." And Jay just yells out, just the emotions coming out. He just yells out that he hates him. And
Yeah,
yeah,
voice screech, voice crack and all.
yeah, it was really good. And Roman's like, "Listen, I get it. You hate me right now, but I love you. I've always loved you. But by the end of the night, you will fall in line." And that's how our opening segment ends. I thought it was pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again because it just feels like there's a little bit over the top with these segments, but they
Yeah,
are
for
good.
sure. For sure,
I feel
yeah.
like it goes a bit too far.
Yeah.
But not as far as a segment we're going to talk about a little later in this episode.
Oh man, that's going to be
You want
great.
to talk about going too far? That's the one. But yeah, we're going to talk about our first match, right?
Yeah, so we have our first match, Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. This is a special match, however, because this is a qualifier match. The winner gets to represent Team SmackDown. It doesn't take long for Bobby Roode to get involved and distract Kevin Owens, who's supposed to be a veteran and who's supposed to kind of see
Yeah.
that Bobby Roode is going to, bring out some shenanigans. But Ziggler kind of takes charge early on. Kevin actually fights back and he says the best thing ever. He's like, "What are you showing off, eh? How to be a bitch?" That was just the best thing ever. That was just incredible.
That was funny.
And
Rude gets ejected from the match early on.
yes, exactly.
Post commercial, the match is much better than it was pre commercial. There's a lot more explosive action. There's a beautiful pop up power bomb into a famouser, which is really nice.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a super kick
insane.
showdown, and the finish is really nice. It's a bunch of roll ups where they can't get the best of each other until KO pops a stunner and picks up the win.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
solid second half of the match for sure. A little boring at first, but overall, good opener. It was not bad. And
No.
KO is in Survivor Series for Team SmackDown.
And post-match, he gets on Michael Cole's mic, and he basically just says that SmackDown is about to become the KO show. Just you wait, watch Survivor Series. So
It wasn't already.
I believe it, though. And now we're backstage with Natalya and Adam Pearce. She wants to be team captain, but Bayley Kay shows up with her resume, which is quite an impressive resume. It was basically
It was a
it was
headshot.
two-sided. Yeah, it was a headshot too.
Yeah.
And basically Natalya takes offense to that. She doesn't need to prove herself. She's the boat, right? And
He's the boat.
this is where the EST of SmackDown, of the WWE, I'm sorry, not just SmackDown, she kind of comes in, and Natalya doesn't care that she is the EST because, as Natalya says, that she's the boat. And Bayley with her classic, "You gotta be joking me." I can't do the Aussie accent. I'm sorry, but
Too bad.
and this is where Adam Pearce is like, "Listen, ladies, we're not getting anywhere. Well, I'm making a match between the three of you, and the winner gets to make the team." And I'm like, man, like, I mean, I would have thought that Natalya was still going to be in the team and Bianca Belair. I'm just surprised that like they kind of just turned into a triple threat match. Like, what other women are there on SmackDown? Carmella, and then who? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, if one of them is winning and the other one isn't, it's kind of weird. I'm like, I kind of expected at least two of them to be in the match at Survivor Series, so it's kind of weird. But I guess the Riot Squad will fill in that place.
Yeah,
we'll stay
exactly.
tuned.
So now we do have an interview between Corey Graves and Lars Sullivan, and I know you're dying to talk about it, so take it away.
I gotta talk about. Okay, man. I mean, honestly, this was actually genius for like the first few minutes, because it's kind of like Corey asks Lars, "Can I call you Lars?" And he's like, "Why? You don't want to call me a freak?" And then he obsesses about being called a freak, and he tells the story about how he used to be called a freak. And it's almost like you're sympathetic towards him, like, oh, maybe they're gonna turn him into like this baby face, like, oh, he just wants to fit in, he doesn't like being called a freak. He tells the story about how two brothers, that Rick and Morty reference, called him a freak when he was in, I think it was elementary school, and he cried because he didn't know what to do, and everyone laughed at him instead, the teachers, the staff, the principal even. And he basically said a couple minutes later, the laughing stopped, but the screaming continued for a lot longer, and then he never went back to that school again. And basically, he wants to unleash a lifetime of pain and humiliation to anyone who gets in his way, and he wants to make this world hell on earth. And I'm like, they had me. I was like, okay, we're gonna get a sympathetic Lars. Oh no, he's just a regular guy.
I get that they want to kind of turn this and get some sympathy points and everything, but I just think it's too late, man. I don't know.
No, of course not. I clearly I'm joking, but that would have been the most interesting thing they could have done. But they went with the obvious.
Yeah.
He's big angry man. He's strong. He was wronged.
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't care.
Now.
So yeah, that was not very exciting.
The next segment. This is our first part of the telenovela on SmackDown. So we're backstage with Murphy and Aalyah. Aalyah talks about how her mom is supportive of her actions, but her dad and Dominic don't really want to talk about Murphy. Murphy wants to go out there and he wants to apologize. He wants to publicly apologize to the Mysterio men. And Aalyah just, holds his hand. She caresses his hand. So I kind of knew what was happening.
Very strange.
Yeah, but we are going to jump to our triple threat match between Bianca Belair, Billie Kay, and Natalya. I actually, honestly, I love Billie Kay so much. I love the fact that she quickly leaves the ring, and because of the coward that she is, she lets Bianca and Natalya just kind of wrestle it out, and one of them
riles them up too.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't exactly just escape, and then she sneaks in to try to take an opportunity. It's funny though, because Adam Pearce said this match was next several segments ago, and we're finally getting it. But the match was all right. I mean, it was kind of clear who was going to win, but there was a lot of nice spots. Natalya looked good. She locked in a sharpshooter on Bianca Belair. They had a double submission on Bianca Belair at one point, which kind of upset Natalya because she's like, we can't both win.
Mm-hmm.
Natalya locks in the sharpshooter on Billie Kay as well. Bianca breaks that up, and eventually, even though Billie Kay tried her best and she had a good showing and she tried to be the opportunist, she at one point was pinning both of them, trying to get some sort of victory.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she cannot, and she ends up getting the kiss of death, and Bianca Belair wins after they send Natalya outside.
Yeah, exactly. So, unsurprisingly, I kind of had a feeling that Bianca was going to win this. But, the surprise for me is the fact that Natalya is not on this team, as she has been representing the women, I think, the past 2 years. But
she's always been captain or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think
she'll probably still be on the team. I feel like she'll get a last chance battle royal type thing, and she'll just win it.
Yeah,
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Because who's on the roster?
But that's the thing.
Speaking of someone on the roster,
I like that
Carmella.
segue. Hey,
right?
Hey, man. I mean, usually I'm the one with the great segues, but good job, man.
I learned from the best, they say.
Thank you. But yes, Carmella, she's back after a 2-3 week hiatus. I guess we hadn't seen her or her video promos in a while, right?
I didn't notice.
But hey, she snaps her fingers. She gets a champagne bottle. She clears her throat. There's someone that hands her the champagne glass, and she talks about how she makes her own rules. She's willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead, because no matter what, she will always win. And next week on SmackDown, the entire world will know why she is untouchable. So Carmella is going to be showing up on SmackDown.
I set a reminder for next week because I want to make sure that actually happens, and I feel like if it doesn't happen, I won't remember if it's happened or not.
God, you're so smart. So
yeah.
This is the segment that we were dreading. As you can see, we both have a smile on our face, but
just like Seth Rollins did at the end of this one, eh?
Yeah.
Did you see that smile?
That was the best smile ever. But okay, here's the thing. Okay, so we'll break it down, and I'll let you finish this up. But essentially, Murphy and Aalyah, they come out to the ring. They're walking arm in arm. And Murphy wants to get... Yeah, exactly. Strange. That's already strange right there. But Murphy wants to get something out of his chest. He understands why the Mysterio men despise him. Because he's done, terrible things. But as a man, he needs to apologize to Rey and Dominic face to face. So he's begging them to come out. Nobody comes out. He's pleading and everything, but nobody comes out. But instead, it's Seth Rollins that comes out. And he basically talks about, how the Mysterio family is never going to accept who he is and whatever this relationship is, but Seth Rollins is there, and he's willing and he's ready to embrace Murphy back. He's willing to embrace Aalyah and the relationship, and you know what? He's even excited to get them married. If
that's what they want.
If that's what they want, exactly. And he's like, listen, there's a place for all of us in the greater good. And he goes on to Aalyah and he's like, listen, Rey is controlling you, who he wants you to talk to, who he wants you to see. He's the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy in this. And
her brother's a coward.
Exactly. And then what happens? Dominic comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, and then it's like I wrote down, it's like Dominic fights Seth, Buddy fights Seth. Dominic fights Buddy. Murphy fights Dominic. Rey Mysterio comes out. Aalyah stops the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And before I deliver the punchline, I just want to point out how I enjoy how Seth Rollins is dressed in a blazer with no shirt and basically suit pants with no socks, like a true heel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Aalyah basically says she loves Murphy and she's not going to leave with Dominic and her father.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make out. And
Seth they kiss. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. They have a touching kiss, and Seth is smiling, and it's kind of weird. But yeah, that was an interesting development.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's if you're into a 19-year-old kissing a 32, but you know what? It's all. I have nothing to say. But
you're not progressive. There's nothing. There's no illegal actions here.
I know.
All perfectly legal.
What I'm just trying to say is that this was just better suited on Raw, and they should have just kept SmackDown intact away from all this. But it's okay.
I'm sure the Fox executives really wanted this storyline. The football analysts would like to offer their opinions in between.
They're like, we didn't segments. Like the Alexa Bliss and the Fiend stuff, so we're gonna give that to you, Raw, and we're gonna take the telenovela. But we're gonna go to Kayla Braxton and Daniel Bryan backstage, and Daniel Bryan acknowledges his opponent Jey Uso and how great he's gotten the last couple of months, right? Because obviously him as being solo for this long, honestly, even I agree with Daniel Bryan. I think that Jey Uso has done great, and he respects Jey because Roman actually hasn't beaten Jey. And I'm like, you're kind of right, because the first match Jimmy threw in the towel, right, and then the second match Jey kind of had to say I quit because Roman had his brother Jimmy in a submission hold. So I guess so.
I mean, it's a technicality, but he's technically correct.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah. And now, man, this is actually I love these four men, but the Street Profits are in the ring. They talk about the New Day and their imitation of them on Monday Night Raw, which was great. And they talk about how imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But at Survivor Series, they aren't serving burritos and they aren't serving pancakes, but they are going to serve them a loss. And out comes Cesaro. Yeah, exactly. Out comes Cesaro and Nakamura for their match. And before I kind of let you talk about this match, I'm sorry, but can we just talk about that moment when Cesaro just threw Montez into outer space? That was just so good.
yeah, so like this is a pretty decent match, but like
Yeah.
it's sad to see Cesaro Nakamura take the loss here again. But yeah, the first half of the match before the commercial ends with that beautiful spot. Montez Ford is in control. The Street Profits are in control at the beginning of the match. He dives on Nakamura, who's outside the ring, but Cesaro out of nowhere, who had just taken like I think a splash or something, just lifts him up and tosses him over the barricades. He flew so high, I think he almost hit one of those TVs in the Thunderdome.
I was afraid that was going to happen. But after the break, Montez is nowhere to be found. He's still up in outer space. And Angelo Dawkins is trying to hold his own. And he does for a little bit. But until he doesn't. We get a knee strike to a gut wrench powerbomb, a double team move from the heels, which I thought looked pretty cool. But eventually, eventually Montez, he comes to his senses and he breaks the pin. And again, like I was saying, I can't say enough good things about these four men. I thought midway until the end, the match got really, really good. But at the end, we see a top rope superplex from Dawkins, followed by a... Oh my God, I forgot
It was the flash. Ford tags in. Montez, Dawkins hits the superplex, and then it's a frog splash right away for the win on Nakamura.
Yeah, exactly. So
pretty solid.
While Cesaro and Nakamura lost, I still thought that this was a really, really great match, a great showing from them. Hopefully,
is there another tag team on SmackDown that can possibly be in these matches instead? I can't even think of anything. Who's on SmackDown? Who's a tag team that's on
Dolph
SmackDown?
Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
It's true, eh? They were already booked in the other segment.
And possibly Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan. I have no idea, man. But
yeah, that was totally forgotten about, eh? That was just not a thing. But kind of could still be a thing.
I'm still unsure of that team, but the one thing that I am sure of is this next man. We're backstage with Sami Zayn, who's hyping up his match against Lashley at Survivor Series. And, he talks about how there is no one more fitting than the Great Liberator to represent the IC title, because the WWE has never marketed Sami as the People's Champion, but he's adored all over the world. Wherever he goes, like the fans love him. He's a hero to the people. And Lashley, he actually represents only one country. So to him, the IC Championship is greater than the US Champion.
Sami Zayn always tells the truth. He always fights for what's right. And this was a very solid promo by our boy Sami Zayn. Mm-hmm. He's probably not going to win, but I hope he does.
I really hope so, too. Now, it's boss time. Michael Cole is excited.
No, it's not. It's a commercial right away. Right away.
After the commercial, it's boss time. She gets in the ring,
it's a commercial.
I know. So Michael Cole is excited. I'm excited. The belt is blue, white, and gold, and so is Sasha. And I think the belt looks really good on her. And it's basically a typical face winning a championship. And then, I guess the night after or like the show after sort of promo. But essentially, she talks about how, you shouldn't talk the talk unless you can walk the walk, which is what she did. And she talks about how Bayley was supposed to be her best friend, her sister. And that's all in the past now because she's got to focus on Asuka. And she knows that, no doubt that she's the best of the best. And this is where Bayley comes out and she kind of hits Sasha a little bit. It was kind of a low blow, but it's true. She says that, listen, we all know that you can win championships, but especially you of all people know that you cannot hold on to one. And I was like, ooh, she doesn't make a point there.
Her match right away for next week because I guess Bayley wants to fight Asuka because she points out that Sasha can't beat Asuka without Bayley in her corner. So we are going to have a match next week for the title. Sasha Banks accept.
But she's not losing this, right?
No, absolutely. If she does, though, that'd be so cool. But I don't think she is. And she also says backstabbing bitches never win.
Yes. So they said bitch
she
twice.
Said a bad word.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're going to jump to our main event. We have Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. Again, let's not forget the winner qualifies for Team SmackDown on the men's side. Jey comes out and he's already looking distraught. And I thought that he was really aggressive. I guess more aggressive than usual. Not really wrestling entirely clean at the beginning of the match. But
so did Corey Graves, as he noted. Yeah, he was more aggressive. He was playing the heelish side of things by hitting when he wasn't supposed to, when there was supposed to be a break and stuff like that. But the match isn't super, super eventful until the second half.
Yeah.
The match is broken up again by a commercial and Roman Reigns entering when Daniel Bryan's in firm control with yes kicks and Jey has to back out. But afterwards, I think the
Yeah.
match really picks up, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so we do get the, like the uppercuts and the running knee and everything from Daniel Bryan, but the one thing that I took away from this match is Jey Uso kind of always had the upper hand, or most of the time he had the upper hand, and Jey Uso was always slowing down the pace of the match, which I thought that was very heelish. Because it's always the heels, right, that are always kind of slowing the pace down, and with the rest holds and everything. And yeah, you're right. So when Roman Reigns comes out, I felt like Jey Uso kind of had like an extra pep. Like he wanted to show his cousin like what he was all about and everything. And there was at one point, I guess the turning point of the match, where Daniel Bryan does nail Jey Uso with the running drop kick, and as he's going to the top rope for a reverse suplex, Jey Uso kind of shifts the weight. He shifts his weight midair, and he nails Daniel Bryan. And essentially, Jey Uso does go for an Uso splash. Daniel Bryan kind of puts his knee up and he puts him on a label lock, but Jey Uso forces the break, and we do see Daniel Bryan going for his vintage running knee, but Uso stops him midway, and he hits him with a super kick, which I thought was a pretty great sequence. I didn't see that coming, and
that was sweet.
Yeah, and then he finishes the match with an Uso splash. So I thought that Daniel Bryan was going to win this, but very surprisingly, I shouldn't have been surprised because Jey Uso did beat cleanly AJ Styles, and now he has beaten Daniel Bryan cleanly. But Jey Uso will be representing Team SmackDown, and
he looked strong in this match.
He did.
I had a feeling that he would win. I thought it was weird that Daniel Bryan would be the one to like lose in this. Is Daniel Bryan not going to be on the card? I guess maybe.
I don't know.
I found it weird, but I wasn't surprised at all by Jey winning. I felt it was kind of like there, like it was like kind of obvious.
It was written in the sky, but
it was. But what's not obvious, what's shocking, and this is why I'm at a loss for words.
But we had 5 minutes left. That's the thing. There was 5 minutes left around, and we knew something was going to happen, right?
Something smells funny when the match is over and there's still 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is why I'm at a loss for words, because I am, quote unquote, shocked.
Yeah, so am I. So Roman Reigns, he gets in the ring, and Jey tells him that, listen, I'm with you. You're the head of the table. And Roman looks at a fallen Daniel Bryan, and I'm like, don't you dare even like lay a hand on this saint, this
He's
beautiful soul.
Like, make sure he knows too that I'm the head of the table.
Yeah.
And then
Jey Uso
beat down.
Yeah, exactly. He nails him with a super kick. He hits him with another Uso splash. And once again, Jey Uso's like, I'm with you. I love you. I understand now. Roman points at Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
I felt like he wasn't convinced that he was saying what he was saying. Like, I'm with you. I'm like, I don't think he's convinced himself yet.
Yeah,
but
and this is where
his actions say otherwise.
Yeah, he takes him outside. He's beating him senseless. He throws him into the steel steps. He lays him on the announce table and, hits him with the Uso splash. Yeah, exactly.
Big splash. I think he didn't get quite all of it. I think he was a little short on the landing there, but looked pretty brutal. I think he got the corner of the table in the groin, which didn't look very... But the table broke, which is all that really mattered. Yeah, and it wasn't over yet. I mean, we did see the graphic, on at the bottom that SmackDown is ending, but Jey Uso was still beating down on Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns exits the ring, and he's all smiles, and that was SmackDown. So the tribal chef now has his full crew ready to go. He has a sous chef. Jey Uso is now back to being The Rock's cousin. All is good in the world. Essentially, so... That was our recap for SmackDown in a nutshell. I always find that as I discuss these episodes with you, I find more positive than negatives. Listen, I thought that if you're watching a wrestling show for the wrestling, I thought that this one, KO Ziggler was fine, was a decent match. The triple threat match between the women was pretty decent as well. And the Jey Uso Daniel Bryan match was decent. But I found that all the matches kind of took a little while to kind of get me into them and get me invested. But story-wise, I think that this episode was story-heavy. There was a lot going on. Not necessarily all for the good thing, because one of them, for example, the telenovela, I just completely hate what's going on with Murphy and Aalyah and everything like that. But, I guess... I don't even know what that could be leading to. I have no idea. But I could. Can you imagine if no? But it wouldn't make sense. Like I was gonna say, like imagine if they joined the greater good, but that just doesn't make sense. Like That's what it seemed like based on that. Like that's the like, oh, she's gonna be like, oh, my dad. She's like going through rebellious teenage years, and her dad and her brother don't support her.
Yeah.
And she's gonna go to Seth Rollins, who is like CrossFit Jesus. Like he's a dude in a sexy man bun. Like what do you want? Like it's irresistible.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would give this episode a 7. I think that there was a lot of. I think the highs were really high and the lows, unfortunately, were low. But if you just kind of do an average, it comes up to a 7 for me.
It seems like it's like that every week. Like this episode is nothing spectacular. Like you said, in terms of wrestling, it's like whatever. I found myself not really being super into much. I mean, a lot of the matches pick up, but they're very slow. They all had the same formulaic slow start, but had a nice pickup. But they weren't anything special. Some of the storylines were very well advanced, but some of them are just like I don't know what to think. Like the telenovela, like you say, but. This Jey Uso storyline is the most interesting one.
Yeah, that was great.
So
that was a good one. Thumbs up on that one.
Gotta give props to that one.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That was a recap for SmackDown. You know what? Thumbs up for Jey Uso, but thumbs up for this podcast as well. I think that you should click on the like button. That's just right there.
Oh my God, I can't believe he did that. Wow.
I'm gonna take a little minute to to plug us essentially, but yeah, you know what? If you do enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and right below me, like right below us, you'll find all the information in the description box below where to listen to us in audio format. If you do like to listen to us in the car or while you're at the gym or something. And basically wherever we are on social media, Instagram, Twitter, pretty active on there. And we love discussing with you guys. So keep those discussions coming. And that's it, guys. We're just going to sign off and say have a good night.
Toodles. But dude, don't tell them to listen to us at the gym. No one's going to listen to us at the gym. Imagine doing a set of bench press and you're listening to us talk about wrestling. That's like the worst thing you can ever suggest.
I listen to us when I'm working out.
What? You just have a power trip on hearing your own voice. That's all it is.